These guys are running around the jungle with a chair to which a beautiful woman is tied. What do they want to do to her? We find out in our review of the movie The Lost City. On the floor of a large temple lie a very satisfied man and woman. They are rejoicing that they have found a certain lost city. Suddenly, an evil old man in a hat and carrying a torch appears. Our couple is immediately surrounded by poisonous snakes, and their hands are tied. But hold on, that doesn't add up. Why are the snakes appearing only now? Why aren't they attacking the villain? The woman says erase, and everything starts vanishing instantly. It turns out all we've seen is part of a novel by acclaimed author Loretta Sage. The main characters in her book are the courageous Lovemore and the long-haired Dashing Dash. Every woman's fantasy. The writer takes a bath and sips champagne on ice. She lives alone, avoiding others since her husband's death. In the evening, Loretto finally completes her novel. A publisher named Bet insists that Loretto embark on a tour to present her book to the readers. With great reluctance, the woman puts on a shiny purple jumpsuit. She feels extremely nervous before stepping onto the stage. The host then introduces the man who was the inspiration for the main character, the charming Dash. His real name is Alan, yet all the fans exclusively refer to him as Dash. He orchestrates an exhilarating dance and compels Loretta to join him. He is the man who adorns the covers of every one of her novels. The audience enthusiastically requests Alan to remove his shirt. Loretta becomes infuriated that the crowd seems more intrigued by a man's exposed torso than by the storyline of her latest book. Despite her anger, she agrees and begins to unbutton his shirt. A woman's watch unexpectedly gets caught in Alan's wig. As he tries to free it, Alan tumbles off the stage and ends up losing his fake blonde hair. It's a failure. Bet is furious. She scandalizes and berates Loretta and Alan. In response, Loretta threatens to kill her hero in the first chapter of the new book. Alan is very offended. The man seems to have gotten so into the role that he thinks he is the real Dash. Out of anger, our heroine overturns a garbage can. Alan complains that against the background of smart Loretta, he constantly looks dumb. Our heroine calls a cab. The car arrives, in which sit very suspicious men. Loretta is kidnapped. Alan notices this and panics. The woman is taken to a building. An eccentric millionaire named Fairfax is waiting for her there. He treats her to wine and cheese and confesses that he is interested in various mysterious objects. For example, her book describes a certain fiery crown with red diamonds, and the man wants to find it. Loretta laughs because her novels are fiction from the first to the last letter, but the man is determined. He shows Loretta part of a map that describes the path to Colomon's tomb, where the very crown is located. However, the inscriptions are in an ancient language, and only Loretta can translate it. The woman refuses the millionaire, but immediately an airplane appears, and our heroine is taken away by force. Alan comes to Beth and tells her about Loretta's kidnapping. He calls a familiar trainer Jack, and the latter advises to track her movement with the help of a smartwatch. Alan finds out that she is flying across the Atlantic Ocean and makes the decision to go and rescue her. Meanwhile, Jack also flies there. Loretta regains her consciousness while on the plane, discovering that she is about to land on an island where the lost city she described in her books is located. Once they arrive, she is placed into a jeep and driven directly into the jungle. We must hurry. There is a volcano on the island that could potentially erupt at any moment. Loretta is then taken to a secret base run by Fairfax. Nearby, you will find that lost city, where many people are diligently excavating. Loretta is tied to a chair, sitting in front of a large pile of books. Her task is to translate the symbols on the parchment containing the map, and she won't be freed until she completes it. Alan arrives in the Atlantic carrying a wheeled suitcase and a comfortable neck pillow. He spots a man with long hair and glasses who looks very cool and quite handsome. It turns out to be none other than Coach Jack himself. They climb into a small blue car and set off to search for Loretta. Jack and Alan eventually reach the jungle. Coach puts on a bulletproof vest and takes out his weapon. Alan pleads to join him, showing he truly cares about this woman. However, Jack departs without him, insisting that Alan stay put by the car. This trainer is like a mix of Rambo and Jackie Chan in one. He swings over a massive fence, knocks out a few guards, and then realizes that Alan didn't follow his instructions and is trailing him. Jack is very unhappy, but nothing helps. Our superhero fights more guards, while Alan watches in fear and delight. He even knocks out one opponent, though the guy was already out cold. Our heroes advance, and Jack easily handles many foes. He reaches the tent where Loretta sits and plans to untie her. That's when Alan falls next to him. He gets up and tells Loretta he's come to save her. The woman hides the piece of parchment with the map in her cleavage. They are surrounded by Fairfax's men, and our heroes need to escape immediately. They rush along with a cart carrying a chair with a bound Loretta on it, and everything behind them is on fire. Loretta is brought to Jack's car. The coach proudly says that she is saved. Alan is very offended, since he was the one who wanted to be her savior. Moreover, Jack and Loretta appear to genuinely like each other. Suddenly, a gunshot echoes, and our superhero collapses to the ground, splattering Alan's face with his blood. In a frenzy, everyone panics. Loretta throws Alan Jack's gun, yet the man isn't prepared to fight. He pushes Loretta into the car with a chair, but she can't fit and must drive with the door ajar. And she doesn't just drive, she races at breakneck speed to flee from the pursuit. Alan complains that Jack's brains got on his face. At one point, the car skids and ends up on the edge of a cliff. Alan notices that Loretta is not in the cabin. Has she fallen into the cliff? Fortunately, no. She, along with her chair, is lying not far from the car. Alan finally unties her. Loretta goes to the car to get out of here as soon as possible, but the car still plummets into the abyss. They can't call the police either, as Alan's cell phone is left in the car. Fairfax is furious. Not only has Loretta disappeared, but she's also taken his map with her. Loretta and Alan go downstairs and find Loretta's cell phone in the car. It's smashed, and so is the car. That's it, here we are. Alan hands Loretta a pair of hiking boots. They're still better than stiletto heels. He's also brought a piece of her favorite cheese and a bottle of water. The woman is delighted. Alan shows her the map and the way to the airport. But there's a problem. They have to go through the jungle, and they have a very long way to go. Loretta tells Alan that Fairfax is looking for the precious crown from her books. The man is thrilled. It's like they're inside one of her novels, like Lovemore and Dash. Our heroes hear the sounds of a chase and head down to the river. They have to swim for a long time before the people at Fairfax lose track of them. On the shore, Loretta notices that there are 3 drunks sucking on Alan's back. The man is hysterical, and Loretta removes them from her friend's back in disgust. Alan takes off his pants, and our heroine sees that there are more than a dozen of them on his butt. The man says that they suck his blood like juice from a sachet. He turns his front to Loretta, and the writer seems pleasantly surprised. Thankfully, there are no leeches there. Loretta sees a beautiful waterfall up ahead and realizes she recognizes the place. She notices the writings on the rock and checks them against her map. It turns out that King Colomon's treasure is to be sought in some kind of well of eternal tears. The trouble is that Fairfax's men are very close by. To escape the chase, our heroes decide to climb a high cliff. This is a very dangerous route, and Alan nudges Loretta from behind with his head. They succeed and end up at the top. Evening comes, and our heroes try to light a fire. Alan carries a scented candle and essential oil in his backpack, great for a campfire. His allergies flare up, causing pimples on his back. Loretta uses cosmetic masks from his backpack on them. The writer suggests they share a hammock for warmth. During the night, Loretta wakes and crawls out. She checks the map again. Alan is behind her. He is offended that the writer has kept the truth about the lost city from him. The couple continues their journey through the jungle. Toward morning, a heavy fog begins to roll in. Loretta loses sight of Alan, and she is immediately pursued by a man on a motorcycle. And he's not alone. Shots are fired. Our heroes find each other and rush deep into the jungle. They hide under some bushes, and with the help of pieces of Loretta's overalls, set up an ambush for the motorcyclists. A couple of enemies fly off into the cliff. Loretta and Alan continue their journey through the jungle and suddenly find some small village. Alan communicates with the police, and Loretta calls Beth. But at that very moment, the publisher is already rushing to her friend's aid. She gets to the island on a cargo plane in the company of many animals, among which there is even a cute goat. Loretta and Alan check into a hotel. The woman sees her friend chatting nicely with the locals and smiles. She puts on a beautiful dress and sits next to him. Alan asks her to dance. There is so much tenderness and passion in their movements. What is this if not love? It seems like they're about to kiss. One of the songs speaks of a well of eternal tears. Loretta realizes that they are talking about some kind of sinkhole, cave, or cliff. She and Alan are going to find Colomon's treasure. However, Fairfax and his men arrive in the town and manage to kidnap her once more. This time they use a tank for the abduction. Alan sees this happening and understands that she will need to be rescued once again. He swaps his moped for his signature watch and hurries off to chase after his beloved. Alan leaps onto the tank and notices his initial rival emerging from the hatch. Loretta, seemingly by accident, spills some cognac on the floor and ignites a small fire which is, however, swiftly put out. On the roof of the tank, a fight breaks out between Alan and his rival. Our hero has no chance, but luckily the villain is knocked off the roof by a tree branch. But immediately a second opponent appears, and with him a third. Alan is forced down into the tank. Across from him, and Loretta sits a furious Fairfax with a gun. He threatens to take Alan's life unless the writer shows him the way to Colomon's tomb. Fairfax, along with his captives and a couple of men, approach the Wright cave by boat. They make their way inside and follow a dangerous path along the cliff. There is a small tunnel, and Loretta climbs in. The passage is too narrow, but still the writer overcomes it and finds herself in a neighboring cave. And behind it is a huge waterfall. The others crawl in after Loretta. There's also a strange gazebo. This is not only Colomon's tomb, but also the place where his sad widow came when she wanted to be alone. Meanwhile, the tremors start. The millionaire isn't too concerned and insists on moving the tombstone. Inside, they find two skeletons, and on the skull of one, there is a crown. However, it's made of shells. But where could the treasure be? Loretta then reads the writings on the walls. It reveals that King Colomon gifted his beloved one red shell every day, and after a year, he crafted a crown from them. Their treasure was not gems, but it was love. The tremors grow even stronger, and an enraged Fairfax demands that Loretha Salanam climb into this tomb so that here they may die together. They are covered with a heavy slab of stone. Fairfax flees away, but one of his men betrays him and sails off the island alone. The millionaire finds himself trapped. But then, a huge rescue boat appears, on which Beth is sailing. Fairfax screams and desperately begs for help. Alan tries to move the heavy slab, but it's too much. Loretta thanks him for trying. Suddenly, they find a nailer in the tomb and use it to shift the slab. Outside, Loretta takes off her wedding ring and throws it into the tomb, ready to move on. Our heroes rush out as everything behind them collapses, burns, and falls. There's only one way to escape. They swim out into the vast ocean, carried by a stream of water that descends from a majestic waterfall. However, to reach their destination, they must swim underwater for an extended period. Loretta bravely swims ahead, but Alan is nowhere in sight. Filled with terror, she screams and desperately calls out for her friend. Fortunately, he soon emerges nearby, much to her relief. As the speedboat approaches, they notice Beth on board, but there's a complication. Fairfax is also there, sitting beside her. Nonetheless, Beth's new friend swiftly grabs him, ensuring he can't escape. Alan gently pulls Loretta out of the water, and they gaze into each other's eyes with deep affection. This is what the cover of the new writer's book looks like. Some time passes. All of our characters are relaxing on the beach, even the airplane goat. Loretta and Alan are looking at the ocean, and then the man kisses his beloved. It's a happy ending. I feel sorry for Jack, though. He was a tough guy. Oh, wait. There he is, alive and well, meditating next to Alan and Loretta. Imagine our channel is a cave, our videos are treasure, and subscribing is the ability to come and get whatever you want. You know exactly what to do. That was Movie Code. We'll see you around.